Mr. Jaccaci. He's the head of our school. We call him our headmaster. Okay. He'll tell you a little bit of the history of the school, right, and how long you've been here. Mr. Jaccaci is a lover of languages. I can say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He lived in China with his family for 5 years, and they've been back in the States for
This is our third year.
This is your third year, yeah. So he speaks Mandarin, right? And he's very excited about this exchange. He was very supportive. So we just wanted to have a little conversation, right?
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. 好，你们好，我今天非常高兴欢迎你们都来我们的学校。你们有没有人会说中文？
David, est-ce que vous allez bien? Yes.
说中文吗？
Non.
Hello and welcome. Welcome. Does anybody here speak Chinese?
I know one sentence.
Please.
我的爸爸是法国人。
Very good. My father is French. Very good. Very good. Where did you learn that sentence?
A friend of mine is learning Chinese.
Chinese as well. Very good. Very good. Well, I'll teach you all one Chinese word today to say hello. Do you know how to say hello in Chinese? It's quite simple. It's quite simple. 你好. Try that. Come on. 你好.
你好.
Very good. Say hello to the person next to you in Chinese.
你好.
你好.
Yeah, very good. Well, welcome. Welcome to Cincinnati Country Day School. It's wonderful to have all of you here. And you've been here now for, I think, about 4 or 5 days, and you spent the weekend. How long will you be here until? When is your last day here?
Wednesday. Thursday.
So Thursday you will be. For those of you who are coming to Cincinnati, though, and coming to a school, I imagine this is the first time you've had an experience like this. What were some of the biggest surprises? What were some of the things that were most surprising, either about living at home with an American family or coming to our school?
I guess the most impressive thing was the relationship between the teachers and the students.
Tell me more about that. Why was that impressive?
There was a real exchange between teachers and students, but it was impressive because in France it's just teachers are giving us sometimes papers or sometimes written their notes.
Okay.
And we have a student at the end we exist.
Okay. So it's difficult to have a conversation with the teacher sometimes? Yeah, okay. And you like that here. Very good. Other things that surprised you? Yes, please. It is not a large number of students. So this is surprising to you, that a typical class would be this small. Is that right? How many students would be in a class in your school in France? So maybe twice this number.
Actually, in our class we are 36.
36?
And it's hard to understand that.
Wow. So this is surprising to you, that it's this small. Do you like it, or do you not like it? We like it this small instead of 36. Who else raised their hand? What else has been surprising? Yes, please.
Different case, there is never the same people for students. It's always changing. It's not the same.
So in France, the same group of students will go to biology, and then to history, and so on, yes?
They change always in the language class.
Okay, very good. What else has been surprising? Yes, please.
Just very fun.
Okay. In France, what time do you begin and what time do you end?
Well, depending on the day, it's like at 8 and 9, sometimes 10, but it's pretty rare. But we get out like 5 or 6 p.m.
Quite late? Okay. Now here we in the afternoon have sports. Do you play sports in the afternoon or not necessarily? Some people do, some students do. It's after dinner even?
Sometimes.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And it's not just school, it's personal school.
Okay. All right. What do you find when you talk about things with your American host family? What were some of the topics that you spoke about? Did you find that your host families were interested in your life in France? Were they interested in things in Europe and what your lives are like? What were some of the questions they would ask you?
They're really interested in the difference of school and a way of life.
Okay. So it's very similar to the type of question that I am asking you as well. Your parents wanted to know that, your host parents. Very good. What were some of the differences, though, in the way of life? So you have all spoken about the differences in school. Somebody who hasn't had a chance to speak yet today. Somebody who hasn't had a chance. Be brave. Be brave. What is maybe something different about way of life, not necessarily school? Yes, please. They brush your teeth before breakfast. In France, do you brush your teeth after breakfast?
Yes.
Okay. So do you find that quite strange? Okay. Very good.
So you can drive along at 16.
When in France, how old do you have to be to drive alone?
18.
18. Okay,
We
so
can
that's
start before with our parents.
okay. But you can't go alone. So do you like that idea? Yeah. How about technology? Do students use technology more here in America or more in France or about the same?
No, in America.
More in America. How are your host families using it? How are the students you're staying with? Are they using it for social media? Are they using it to communicate? Are they using it to get news? Are they using it to play games? Or all of those things? Social media?
I mean, class. Because everyone has
Has the laptop computer, right? Do you find that strange? Would you like to have a computer in your class, or do you think that would be distracting?
I like to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in France we got our bag is like 50 pounds.
Okay.
So it's really easy and it's better to have this laptop with all the books on it and to take notes.
Okay. So that you don't have to do that. Is your school in session right now? Are you missing class, or are you on holiday? You're on holidays. Yeah, very good. So everybody else is having a nice time here in America, is that right? No, but I'm sure that this has been interesting. Did you speak at all about politics? You know, we're very, America is very interesting place these days. I'm sure that you had many questions. Did you speak to your family about politics here in America?
In America and also in France.
Yeah, and were you making comparisons between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Do you find that interesting? A little bit? And what were the students you were staying with, were they interested in speaking about it or not necessarily interested? The student you stayed with was interested? And the parents as well were speaking as well. Very good. Now, how did you all communicate with your parents to let them know you're okay? Mostly email, or use Skype, or using FaceTime? How did you let your parents know everything was okay?
It's message and recordings.
So every day, were you talking to your parents every day?
It's on messages, it's FaceTime. So
Okay, very good. What do you think our American students will be most surprised about when they come to Colmar?
Our houses.
Yes.
Your house is much smaller?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been surprised by how big some houses
Yes.
are? Now this is Cincinnati, so it's some houses. If you were to go to visit somebody in New York City or maybe Los Angeles, I think the houses would be smaller, unless you go see a movie star in Los Angeles, then it's very big, of course. But so one thing they'll be surprised is how small the house is. Yeah, very good. And do you all walk to school or do you take a bus? How do you get to school?
box.
Mostly a bus? By Okay, very good. So what advice would you give me? I am an American headmaster. If I want my students to learn about the world more fully, how can I help them learn about the world? What would you suggest to me?
Yeah, it's really complicated.
Okay, it's complicated, but we have to do it, don't we? My students are going to go in the world the same way you are. Do you have suggestions?
They have to be hungry. It helps us to eat a lot, discover all the new flavors and typical dishes.
Very good.
Déjà bon parti. It's a really different way of life, so the food is also completely different.
So what you're saying is the student must have a real interest, must have a real hunger, you said, to try the different tastes. Yes?
Yeah, and it's kind of same thing for the rest. They have to be interested, and yeah, our way of life is slowly really different. Our school days are most longer, so we have to be prepared.
Okay. They may be tired, yes?
Yes.
We have the same university like students with in others, some people live far away without big town like Kola.
Okay.
It's not too huge. So we live far away, so we have the same university, and it's really different when we go out. It's
So what you're saying is it'll be very different how far away they live from the school or the city, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. Now, I'm going to ask you a question because you said for students to have a good global experience, they have to have a hunger. Is that something that they have to create themselves, or is that something the school can give to a student, or is it a combination of both?
To be interested by everything.
Yeah.
open-minded.
Again, please.
To be like open-minded, because from a country to another, countries can be really different.
Yes.
So you gotta be open-minded to adapt yourself to a foreign way of life.
Yes. Very good. That's great advice. Okay, the last thing is I will just ask everybody, just one word, that's all it is. Just what has been your favorite part of the trip so far? It doesn't have to be Cincinnati, it could be New York, it could be some food, it could be a place you went to, it could be something. Something that is the most favorite. Go all the way around. Yes, sir. Most favorite thing.
The match between the Bengals and the Colts.
You went to the football game, all right? Very good.
The food and the match.
Also the football game. The food at the football game? Or just food generally?
Generally.
Yes. When you went up on top of Rockefeller Center, New York City. That was good. Did you see any famous people?
Yeah.
You did? Who?
What?
Did you see a famous
No.
person? Okay.
In New York it was Times Square, and here the King of Ireland.
Kings Island. All right. Yeah, you went. It was a little bit wet though, wasn't it? It was raining. What was your favorite thing you
When
tried?
I was at the King's Island.
You liked Kings Island as well. Do they have these types of things in France too?
In Germany.
In Germany, not so much in France. Okay.
I like hanging out with people.
You like hanging out and making friends with people? Very good.
I also like talking with people.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, the first day at school, in discovering the new culture, way of learning, and making new friends.
Okay, you found that to be interesting.
I think it was only speaking with all American and French people. It was really good and interesting.
To have the two cultures come together, very good. You like the family language? Yeah, very good.
The school and the memorial of 9 September.
Okay, very good.
King Saleh, the manager.
Okay, very good.
The school and the university of Times Square.
You like the Times Square, yes. Very good. You went to the couple there too. All right, very good. Well, thank you all so much for coming. I hope you enjoy your last few days. So now you have what's called a free bell. Yay! All right, thank you. Thank you.